Today, I'm going to share some enlightened wisdom that billionaires won't tell you. Fundamentally, we humans are just travelers in this world, temporary residents. From the moment we arrive until we leave, we can't take a single thing with us. Our beauty, our money, our houses, cars, parents, children, none of it can be taken away. The only thing of real value isn't money, but every minute and second of every day, within our 30,000 days and 4,000 weeks of life, mindfully learning what we need to learn in this space. That wisdom is what's most important. Something you must know is the difference between dopamine and endorphins. What is dopamine? It's a short-term pleasure. For example, scrolling through our phones, looking at beautiful women, gambling and entertainment, these all give us a short-term dopamine rush. But they don't create any value for us. It's just a fleeting moment of happiness. And what are endorphins? For instance, working hard to go to the gym every morning, doing a difficult thing. But in the long run, our bodies will be great, and we'll have a lasting sense of pleasure. That's endorphins. Also, working hard to read a book, studying psychology, and healing our minds. Or studying for a real estate license. It's hard work, but in the long run, once we get that license and sell a house, we can earn money and support ourselves. This is something that produces endorphins. It's something of long-term value. Yet most people, 99.9% of people, are driven by dopamine. It's like buying a house. Some houses are assets, others are liabilities. Buying a house that generates positive cash flow is an asset, but buying a liability, like a yacht, generates negative cash flow. Now, that's a liability. Many people are living in debt, draining their own energy, because there's a fundamental logic. Whenever we interact with any space, any energy field, an atom, or a person, at the core, it's a form of consumption. Putting our time and energy into these things consumes us. If we don't understand what we're supposed to gain from this consumption, what happens? We just keep draining our energy, producing dopamine instead of endorphins. So in the long run, it's just rush after rush after rush, stimulus after stimulus, and we gain no value. And what is value? What is true value? You might say, hey, is a moment of happiness value? I don't think so. True value is either wisdom or it's money. Money is the fruit of one's labor, a tool formed by condensing all of one's abilities and energy. When this money is given to you, you've truly received value. Or it's wisdom. Giving a man a fish is not as good as teaching him how to fish. This wisdom is also a value. If you don't get one of these two things, you should know it's a liability. It will cost you your energy, drain your energy, but it won't produce any value for you. So once you understand this, you can distinguish whether you should pursue a relationship. If this person only ever gives you dopamine, many people spend 30 to 40% of their lives on romance, going out to eat, trying to please the other person, letting their minds be constantly occupied by a dopamine rush, always high on it, but gaining nothing. A true soulmate can progress with you, make money with you, and then create wisdom together. And if it's about eating, eating is one of the things that consumes the most energy. If you eat random stuff, drive for hours just to eat, and then take photos to share, that's just dopamine. In the long run, the pleasure you get from eating is just fleeting. Do you have any wisdom or money that actually stays in your life? Maybe some influencers can make a few $100 from eating. But is that money really an asset? Or is it a liability? Is it really worth half a day out of the only 30,000 days of his life? I don't think so. If your own being, your existential positioning, is to be someone who can influence the whole world, change the world, be the light of the world, and be a messenger of love, or a real estate mogul, a business tycoon or a billionaire, then the value you seek is definitely not this eating. You can't spend that much time on eating. So my biggest takeaway from my recent 21-day fast is that people spend too much energy on eating. During my fast, I could only have liquids. And I found that people actually only need 10 minutes to blend a vegetable juice or make some porridge, and once you drink it, you're full. Then you save all that time on washing dishes. You just rinse it and put it in the dishwasher, and the rest of the time is mine to spend on things that create value, like making money, building a career, and seeking enlightenment, getting information from the universe, so I can create good things to share with everyone. In terms of greed, anger, and ignorance, I was greedy going to a sushi place with him, greedy going to play ball with him. He invites me every week to do this and that, but I realize those are all greed, anger, and ignorance. They're like viruses. What I really need to do is valuable things, so I just say, I'm busy. So this is the difference between dopamine and endorphins, and then moving on to the true meaning of our lives, which is we must use our limited time to generate the most intellectual wealth. This requires us to do things mindfully every second in a space of fulfillment. So how do we do that? It's about having inner space and outer space. Our inner and outer selves must be completely aligned. For example, today my partner and I are doing an open house, and his outfit today is very casual, very hip-hop style. So I told him, in this professional space and external setting today, you also need to dress so your inner space is professional too, because that's how you achieve consistency. Only consistent people can gain the most value. Like many billionaires, they are very consistent people. Your clothes, your look, they must fit the space. And he was using his phone a lot today. I said, since you've settled in for 4 hours and said we're doing an open house together, you must put your phone aside. Because once you use it, you've moved to another space, and you won't be able to learn the wisdom you're supposed to learn in this space 100%. Many people have a kind of spatial confusion. They're doing things in one space that actually belong in another. This causes a lot of big problems. Only when a person is mindful and 100% focused, when you take something to the absolute limit, that's when you can gain the greatest profit, and that greatest profit is your wisdom. After talking about these 3 points, I think there's another realization, which is that people shouldn't be so restless. Over 90% of people are restless because there's too much greed, anger, and ignorance. Our phones, our meals, women, men, friends, useless socializing. These are all viruses we need to quit. What's truly valuable are those wise, enlightened people. I'm taking a meditation class now, twice a week. We share and learn about the Tao. What is the Tao? The Tao it's when you act according to the way, following this order, and you'll be rewarded. For example, you should sleep early and wake up early. Only then can your body be healthy. This is the Tao. There are small ways and the great way. When we first enter this world, we are also a tiny Tao. But sometimes we do disorderly things, like committing crimes or stealing. But then we get hit or arrested, which teaches us that we can't do that. Then we become orderly again. That's us cultivating wisdom, knowing what we should and shouldn't do. And as long as we do things that don't align with the Tao, we'll suffer. For instance, if someone isn't right for us anymore and can't be our friend, but we force them to stay, the connection is gone, yet you still want them. That's not following the Tao, so you suffer. Sooner or later, you must let go. When you do things that align with the Tao, it's like when the connection comes, you meet. When it fades, you say goodbye and let go. Only then can you avoid suffering. So when we act in harmony with the Tao, we become much wiser, more lighthearted and free from pain. And when we have attachments, greed, anger, or ignorance, holding on to something and refusing to let go, we will suffer. But actually, there is a truth, an eternal and unchanging Tao. And then? Spirit is a Tao below that. And as the spirit progresses, as it gains wisdom, it becomes a channel that sees the Tao. So it goes from, say, 20% of the Tao to 100%. It's the same for us humans. From knowing nothing at first, we keep improving until we become a 100% wise being. And then let's talk about completeness. Do you know what completeness is? It's the best state we want to achieve in every space right now, the state of completeness, where everything is in alignment with the Tao. It's happy, abundant, and not broken. Like a cup, if it falls and shatters, then it's broken and incomplete. How do we achieve completeness? We actually don't need to do anything to reach it. Why? I used to think I needed to make money to be complete, or be beautiful, or have many friends. But my heart remained incomplete, chasing a state of perfection. But actually, even if your body fails, you can still be complete. Because completeness doesn't require you to be or do anything. It only asks you to choose a state of completeness. I have an Indian master who once crushed his hand. He didn't even use anesthesia and didn't feel pain because he was always in a state of completeness. And there are women in some tribes who don't know childbirth is supposed to hurt. So every time they give birth, it doesn't hurt because no one told them it would. So they're always in that state of completeness. She doesn't know what pain is. She doesn't know childbirth is painful, what that definition even is. So what we're pursuing is, in any space, to be like an enlightened monk, where even in the cold, with no clothes, barely covered, and nothing to eat, he can still calm his mind. A state where you can see yourself and see the Tao, which is a state of complete fulfillment. This is what we need to cultivate, and I'll share more in the next episode. Thank you. Tao is greater than God. In the Bible, it says God created light out of the chaos, created this, and created that. But have you noticed the God of the Old Testament was very fierce? If someone did one little thing wrong, he'd want to kill them. On the Sabbath, a man picked up a piece of wood and he had him killed. A very strict father. And then reaching the New Testament, this God becomes very compassionate. He works on the Sabbath and goes to help people. Why is there this inconsistency? This is because God is also like a human. He's also gaining wisdom. From the beginning of creating the universe, then creating man, and constantly gaining wisdom, he learned tolerance and he learned love. Although he's an omniscient, all-encompassing God, he also goes from an initial starting point to a final end point. He's also progressing. This brings us to a new theory, which is that there's a Tao above all of this. The God at the start of the Bible, he might not have known. He knew human nature was greedy, but he might not have known his creations would be so full of greed, anger, and delusion. A man could kill his brother just because God told them directly what he liked and what he didn't. So what does this show? That God's wisdom is also progressing. So is there an eternal truth? Like, what is wisdom? Wisdom is seeing the truth.